Space apartments, if you look at the service apartment sector in Bangladesh, it has been there for quite some time, but nonetheless it never had that bit of an exposure. Why? Because it was pretty much abruptly made, and those were not made for apartments. If you see that there were Korean ladies, they used to rent the whole building, they used to cook Korean food and keep Korean guests. So it was in a very those sort of in different. If you look at different cultures and different country people, they used to come into Bangladesh and open up their own way of doing things in terms of hospitality is being concerned. But space apartment is a made for service apartment. It's a proper service apartment. It's built for it. So it has the total infrastructure, the people, the service. It all supports and complements it to become a proper service apartment. And we know what we're doing. We got what it takes to make it a success. Space Apartments is a comprehensive service provider in terms of if you compare it with any other hotel, we are pretty much able to provide the similar sort of service. We do not have a bar or we do not have a swimming pool, but other than that, whatever the bells and whistles that any other hotel or service apartment provides, we are at par, if not more. The only difference, the few differences. Okay, let me tell you first. We have a 24/7 restaurant. Every service that you can name off, it's 24/7, from laundry to front desk to housekeeping. Everything is 24/7. So the guests have a seamless experience, and they're always well taken care of. Their life is cushioned. What we try to do is build a life cycle around it, because if you look at the location of space apartments, it is strategically located in the diplomatic zone, which is very it is also very close to the most beautiful Gulshan Park, so people can go out there, have a walk, and it's in very secluded, secured zone, so guests feel relaxed and comfortable being here. It's very high-end, so to speak. Why? Because not too many people can afford staying at service apartments like this, and we serve the cream of the crop. I mean, because having a stay in a hotel or a service apartment for a day or two is not a big deal, but having to pay that much money every day for a month or for a year or a few years, it's not very easy to find such guests. So it is tough in a way. But again, with the team that I have built in over the years, and they seem to be doing just fine, and we have been having superb business in terms of business growth, in terms of guests. We have all the major diplomatic organizations, and a lot of named corporate bodies. I can name a few, like Grameenphone, Unilever, Tommy Hilfiger, Levi's, L'Oreal. Their CEOs and that CXO level, those are the type of people that stays. Other than that, a lot of diplomatic missions, I would not want to mention the names of it due to security reasons. They do come and stay here for a long period of time. We do have a rack rate, and we also do have a corporate rate, and what I would want to do is have my marketing team come and share it with you, so that you are able to share it with your respected clientele. The significant feature is the space is represent space, and we do have, if you compare with any hotel, we do have give a lot of space, 650 square feet the deluxe one, and 700 square feet for the premium one. So and all the rooms have a balcony attached to it. What happens is, if you stay in any other hotel or any other service apartment, you feel claustrophobic. Because in the plane, you are in a confined area. When you are in a hotel, you are pretty much confined. But here it's like your own. The differentiating factor is, when you are here, you feel that you own this place. The owner, the belongingness. That's what brings the customers keep coming back to us. And here, just like any other hotels, we don't count our guest as a number. To us, the guest means as a proper human being with his needs and wants, and their comfort and their traits and his likings and dislikings. So what happens is, we are one of those hotels where we know that what a guest would ask for. A lot of hotels, usually you'll find that they have a lot of things, but you as a customer, you don't really need all that. You need something very specific, which you're comfortable with for over the years of your brought up. So you would want those things to be there. So we know you, we read you well, we talk to you well, we take your interview in a very comfortable manner. You wouldn't know by the time. We'll have a total understanding of your likings and dislikings, and we'll do things accordingly. That's the boutique culture, and that is what we're good at. In terms of the guest, as I said before, the quality of guests that we have, they need to have a good place to live for a long period of time, and they have to feel acclimatized. They need to be very highly secured, and which we provide. So in terms of contribution is concerned, we are able to contribute to bring a very positive impression of the country. And how we do so is, what I say to all my employees, that they are not only working here as an employee or a hotelier, they are the ambassadors of this country. So whenever a guest is talking to them, whatever we are saying, what our body language is, that is what an impression that the guest is having in his mind. And we are Bangladesh to him. When we say Bangladesh, he is thinking of us. So how we take care of him, how we are present in front of him, how we communicate, that is how. So we do work we have our fair share of contribution in terms of giving a positive impression regarding Bangladesh to the expats coming to this country. Very recently, I was born and raised in Chittagong, so I have very good memories of Rangamati. So I went to Rangamati myself, and then to visit the hanging bridge and everything. So when I went there, it was the environment, the surrounding, the people there, the visitors or the tourists, you may say, the amenities, the services being concerned. After looking at it, what I had a feeling is in Bangladesh has come a long way in terms of Photoshop. In Photoshop, it looks all beautiful, but when you go there, you experience it, it's very clumsy. I'm sorry to say, I know I might hurt a lot of people's mind saying that, or being in this industry, I shouldn't be saying that. But we are still very much into the primitive stage. We are very much into the basics of providing just a decent food maybe, or just a toilet, or just a sitting area or a few benches. This is it is very difficult. If you go to any other country in the world, you will see that how far they have gone, how well they have thought, how in detail they have thought in terms of building the tourism, what the tourists would want to have while they come, because they're out there to spend money, and for us to be able to grab that money, we must have a very good net, which we do not have. We are very much into the basics. If you go to the Lawachar resort or there's, it's still very, very basic, very primitive, and we are still struggling. My dissatisfaction, if you may say it, is towards the government authorities who has been there for all this time, and we are still struggling to come up with a good infrastructure. Even if you look at Cox's Bazar, it has been done in such an unplanned manner. The city, when you stay on a roof and then you look around, all you see is buildings, concrete buildings, and that's not nice. in the long term, you're killing it. Once the building is there, you can't just take it down just like that.
Right.
So it really hurts me as a human being, as a hotelier, of course, as a part of this industry. It hurts that it should be more well planned. We still got time. It's better late than never. I know that the government has taken their initiative in terms of there's an island they have decided they want to go full-fledged. I really hope that they involve the right sort of resources who has a total understanding of what the other part of the world are doing and what we offer there. It should be at par. We don't go back in 80s and still be back to the basics. Honestly speaking, my friend, is in Bangladesh, the people that we work with here, the people who are working in the hospitality industry, they're at home, they're very comfortable. They're just a typical Bangladeshi guy. But once they're in the hotel, they have to act as an international person, as a global person. So the person who's probably wearing in a very Bangladeshi attire at home, he's having to be all suited, booted at the office and perform day in, day out. So I remember there's a picture of Superman holding the planet like that. So every day I have that struggle of being the Superman and being able to hold the planet. All my people, they have to come up and do their best they possibly can to be international level at par. And another thing what I have done is over the course of time I have prepared a good set of people who works with me. So wherever I am going, they are usually with me. So these fantastic people, they are able to contribute. They know their drill very well. Alongside, wherever I go, my way of doing things is to empower people so that they are able to make the decisions. And alongside, my teaching method or my mentoring method is, I don't tell them to do things. I also give them a total understanding of the perspective, why they should do it. What happens if they don't do it? Why they should do it now? Why can't they do it later? So they understand the prioritization, they understand the perspective, they understand the impact of that. So that is how, if we go one at a time, eventually they understand the total understanding of what they should be doing there. So their decision makings are just. Eventually the entire hotel starts getting benefit out of it. So I sort of, I prepare my baseline first, give the baseline employees to a certain standard. Then I go to the very high level, I get them ready, and then it comes from top down. That is the management approach that I take. It is of course imperative that the resources that we have here are well educated in terms of English, especially. We don't make rockets here, so we don't need people who knows rocket science. And hospitality is no rocket science. It's easy. We are dealing with human people, human beings, and then. So the education is important in terms of, first, to be a hotelier, they need to have that manners and etiquettes. They need to know what is right, what is wrong. They need to be able to understand that what to do, what not to do. Here I also teach them what not to do, right? So in education, in terms of education, of course, people should have a total perspective. They should have an understanding. A hotelier should understand from a guest's standpoint that how the guest is feeling. So he has to have an extensive understanding of the international way of doing things, the American way of doing things, the British way of doing things, the Aussie way of doing things, their ways of looking at that same glass of water from different countries' perspective. So once they're able to acquire that, which takes a good amount of time, then they're able to perform well. And alongside, to be able to communicate, the English has to be there, the pronunciation has to be there. Of course, I do teach my set of employees, and I have my tricks and trade secrets in taking them at par. Because what happens is, in Bangladesh, if you see the usual scenario of hotels, it's just the good morning sir, good afternoon sir, thank you sir, come again sir, give me a break. I mean, those days are long gone now. So now they need to be educated, they need to know the American way of saying things. Are you true? Would it be okay to take the plate now? Things like that. So that when the guest is there, they feel at home. They feel that they haven't come to a foreign land and people are, these are all zombies. So we are still very much updated. We need to sound updated as well. So that is why we need proper English, the right accent. So that is why education is of course very much important. Alongside grooming is also important. Most important is having a smile. my eyes, Bangladesh hospitality industry is going through a big transition, big transition. You know, if you look back, we have had the Westin, we have had Radisson, we had the Sonargaon and Sheraton and Lakeshore, so those sort of hotels. But I can bet you in a couple of years what you're going to see, there's going to be a lot of new hotels coming in. You're looking at another 56 hotels coming up in this country, and we are going to need a lot of resources, a lot of human men and women to be involved into this industry. But having said that, when I go back and when I am with the students who are upcoming students, even recently I had a session with the Daffodil University students, what I see is the quality of students can be improved, and why we have not been having the quality students is because in the media and by the government or the relevant authorities, they could not properly emphasize the importance or the significance of this industry and the potential that the industry has. It has been somehow been doomed. It has not been properly represented. And that is why we haven't had the demand for it. It's all the BBAs and MBAs in Bangladesh, right? But that is about to change, I think. You know, once these hotels are taking shape, you know, people will see it. Seeing is believing. They're going to see these huge buildings, the fancy buildings. They would want to have that urge within them to be able to work in those places. So their parents are going to say, why don't you go study this? You know, so those days are coming. And also what I believe, in Bangladesh, we haven't had good ambassadors for this industry, that, you know, somebody to look up to. Okay, if I study this, I can be like him or I can be like her. So we have to have role models set in the industries for the people to follow. So this is where we lack, and this is where your other part of the question comes in, that how come we don't have we have experts to run the show for us? Why cannot we do it ourselves? But I got news for you, my friend. Those days are about to change. I'm bringing up with lot of people, some good resources. They're going to take some businesses, they're going to win some businesses, and they're going to give this country some good hospitality. You know, I have worked in the hospitality, of course, some years. Not a whole lot of years like others, but good some years to be able to understand. But in terms of achievements, you know, when I was working for Lakeshore, I made it the #1 in TripAdvisor, and it has still been #1 out of 85 hotels in this town. In Booking.com, in Agoda.com, and everywhere, you know, it is pretty much the #1. So I made it the #1 because I knew, and when I joined it, it was a totally brand new hotel. So, you know, I learned it the hard way, and I had that opportunity to implement my recipe of success, and which worked just fine for this industry. Where what I have done is I have included a lot of technology into the hospitality, and I made it more updated. And what I identified is, it's not the chairs and tables or the beds that get sold. It is the people. It is the service that gets sold. It is the service. It is the people that brings in the business, not the chairs and tables and the fancy faucets. So that is where I invested on my people. I made a good set of people, quality people, updated people. They're able to deliver. So that is how that hotel became a success. Why I joined this service apartment industry is because I wanted to be in one of the pioneers. The pioneers. Whenever there will be names of service apartment will come in, people will have to name my name, that this guy made it a success. So it's always, I am the one who showed them the path. So I'll be remembered. And who doesn't want to be remembered? Of course, a success, a lot of people can be successful, but being remembered by everybody, even if you're not there, that's what makes the difference. So I wanted to be a pioneer of an industry, and I, by the grace of Almighty Allah and all the help from my team, I have proven that I have made this service apartment a good success, because Space Apartment is making really good business here. I do have interest in golf. I was living in Uttara before, so every day I would pass by this golf course, and I would have a look at those beautiful people playing golf. And I have my relatives and friends and family who plays golf. And but I think there is a right age for it, and there is an age for it, and there is stature wise, you have to be somewhere there. But I'm getting there, and then I'm getting a lot of information. I've already started getting information on how to get myself enlisted, and very soon, you never know, you're going to find me in a golf course.